Hi, I'm Jason Gordon for ThatShelf.com, and we're here to look at some pretty spectacular in-ear headphones from Bowers Wilkins. These are the Pi8, arguably the best bang for the buck you can get on the mobile audio front.
Shelf.
Bowers Wilkins, the long-established name in audio, B&W as it's known, um, incredibly well-rounded brand. They span a range from sort of, speakers that people sort of start their systems with, really decent sounding, traditional sort of British sound that is now engineered elsewhere, all the way up to the 800 series speakers, which I'm absolutely delighted to have as a central part of my two-channel and home theater experience. I have 802s and 805s. So the Bowers Wilkins, because they're a weird sort of center spot, I think for some people, because people know the name, it's been around for so long. Something like Jaguar in a funny way. It's a very sort of traditional name thought of for very specific and often historically great reasons for some impeccable engineering and stellar sound. But some people, I think, are a little bit cynical. It's almost like it's an esoteric brand that people have heard of. The Japanese brands get away with that, like things like Sony, that where you have very high end and very sort of consumer fronted elements sort of all combined, especially with Sony's professional work. Things like Pioneer, which I think a lot of people thought of as relatively low end, so as a kid, relatively low-end gear, and yet, of course, there's the Pioneer Elite. There's all kinds of other elements that, as I grew to know, the slightly higher-end products. But those are ones that you could find at a Best Buy. You've heard of these brands. And, of course, B&W sort of, on their higher-end equipment, sort of travails that sort of esoteric region where there's a bunch of brands that, most consumers have never even heard of. And so B&W in a funny way is competing not only against its own legacy, using its name in ways that are certainly beneficial for those that sort of want to have a little bit of that sort of higher end stuff. But even like if you ask most people who have ever heard anything about audio, they will have heard of Bowers Wilkins and maybe not have heard of something almost as big as, let's say, Martin and Logan, or something that's sort of in that similar esoteric range, but also part of massive companies that own stuff. You have things like Denon that, again, high-end, low-end branded, but something like Bowers Wilkins that absolutely competes at their highest level with any equipment from any of the most esoteric places all over the planet. Which brings to the sort of notion of personal audio, the way that many of us are sort of consuming music these days. Yes, Bowers Wilkins make really decent over-the-ear headphones. I hope to bring a review of those at some point in time on this channel. They obviously make spectacular speakers from a wide range, but they make Bluetooth headphones, and Bluetooth headphones have inherent limitations. They have batteries that can't be user replaced, so at some point in time they stop working, so you can spend a lot of money on them, and we know in several years they're sort of their role will diminish. You are sort of reliant upon the today limitations of Bluetooth. Even the highest end Bluetooth is substantially truncated sound. Certainly compared to wired audio that you can get from a really excellent DAC, you're going to get certain limitations, which means that there's certain sculpting that's actually done to the sound. Inevitably, you're not going to get sort of a purely neutral sound. You're going to get the whatever house sound is determined from the headphones themselves, or earphones in this case. And then you're going to get just the general notion of with portability comes, certain restrictions. You have very small drivers. They're going to have certain limitations that you're not going to get from, you're not going to feel any sound in your chest the way that you would from traditional loudspeakers. Huge advantages, incredible portability, of course, but also they're being engineered for your inner ear canal, which means that the speakers that have to deal with all kinds of nonsense, room nodes and different layouts and whatever absorption and reflection elements are in there, you can engineer for directly inside a person's skull, as it were, inside their ear canal, particular sound and particular soundings that are truly exceptional. And you can frankly get from headphones that cost several $100s sound that rivals speaker systems that cost thousands of dollars, simply because it's a smaller area that it actually has to account for, and a microscopic voltage so close to your eardrum with well-engineered drivers will actually sound pretty thumping bass, really crisp and beautiful highs, warm melodic mids, all within a really small package. So this has been a pretty fascinating experience for me. I've actually had a chance to look at the Pi8s for many months. And before those, I was actually given the Pi7s to take a test drive. Now the Pi7s, they came in, the one I got was this sort of little sort of blue case. And they, they're very fancy. It sort of feels like, slightly more exotic with the golden against the blue. Not the biggest fan, but nonetheless, it's not boring all black like my other pair is. But nonetheless, this is what the Pi7s look like. And the case was this sort of like oblong case or whatever. And as you open it up, the headphones themselves sort of tucked in here. And as you normally do, the case obviously is a charging case. The earphones, I will keep calling them headphones because that's what I do because they're in my head. But these specific earphones sort of plug in here. They go in here, and you can see they sort of do a decent job of sort of nestling in here and doing all those elements. Now these, sounded okay. I wasn't super thrilled with them. I thought that they're a little bit fatiguing. I was getting a little bit of sense of just not the musicality I was expecting. They were relatively comfortable, but these weird sort of like round dongle things on the outside weren't super comfortable. Yes, they're touch sensitive and they had all these elements, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the Pi7s, the Pi7S2s, I will have you know. There's a couple really cool things though that were in the engineering. One, the case is not only a charging case, but via the USB, you can actually plug this in, and this actually becomes a Bluetooth transmitter. Meaning if you're on a plane, let's say, and it has a mini jack out, you can actually take the USB cable included. And in the Pi7, this was the box for the Pi7, is the box for the Pi7. And you can actually, via the cable that it comes with, plug it into the airplane. And what that allows you to do, if I get this out, I just dropped it, this is the wrong one. There you go. Okay, this is the correct one. So you can see you have USB-C on one end and you have mini jack on the other. Meaning I can stick this into, let's say, any headphone jack, car, whatever. USB-C out on the outside. That goes into the case, and then the case itself becomes a transmitter. So I really love that about this. I used it a couple times. But the sound, again, wasn't up to snuff for things that were sort of commensurate in the price range. And for me, my go-to earphones in this range are the Sonys. These are the, I have my sticker on the bottom here, but these are their X5s, the sort of flesh-colored earphones here. Incredibly comfortable, fantastic sounding earbuds, great battery life. Sony's app is fantastic, and I really, really love these Sony headphones. They've been my absolute go-to when it comes to actually Bluetooth in-ear headphones. These have been amazing. The best at the time noise canceling I heard has none of that sort of weird sucking feeling. I get absolutely, for me, no equalization difference. It's not like when you kick in noise canceling, suddenly the sound changes so much, which I get in so many other earphones. It does all kinds of great stuff, and these Sonys are fantastic, and I have loved them, and these were my go-to earphones until these guys showed up. And these, so what they did with the Pi8 is they basically, apparently just went back to scratch. And they had done a ton of engineering on the Pi7s, and really try to make it work, and had really cool features like this sort of, USB to mini jack thing. So they kept that stuff, but from a driver perspective, even from a case perspective, look at the difference. Sort of a quote-unquote normal case. I know it's kind of hard to see against the black, but you see here, these are the B&W Pi8s. Upside down, of course. It says Bowers Wilkins, relatively subtle there. You open it up, And just on the top, just judging this alone, you can see the difference of the construction there. It's kind of hard to see. I know in this light, I apologize. But these are the sort of big, chunky, round that sort of stick out of your ears, whereas these are really nice, sort of much more sculpted, sort of oblong, elliptical element. And when they go in the ears, they just fit exquisitely. They absolutely go in my ears without any problem. Really nice area for you to tap on. I never feel like I'm crunching on it, etc., etc. And like the others, this actually works as a transmitter. Absolutely amazing. Great. Now, how is it in terms of sound? Well, they're gonna brag about all the other elements that it does. You can see it does wireless charging, as one would hope. The case itself can actually go on a Qi charger. Audio retransmission from case. CD quality lossless audio. That's based on its particular Bluetooth aptX. Active noise canceling. We'll get to that in a sec. Up to 6.5 hours playtime, 20 with case. And of course, the case, despite being substantially smaller and easier to fit in, actually has packs quite a charge. It's just much more efficient. Now, if I go to the crazy website for Bowers, you have a lovely photo of David Beckham wearing these. And showing off Pi8, the new reference in earbuds, class-leading audio performance, bespoke ANC, and crystal clear call quality with the comfort and elegance of highly considered earbud design. They come in midnight blue, jade green, anthracite black, which is what these are, and dove white. Now, there's specifications that are actually really interesting. So the weight, each earbud is 7 grams. The case itself is 46 grams. Incredibly light. Super, it's like when you're wearing them, you almost don't feel it. And in terms of the technical details that are obviously in-ear noise canceling, true wireless earbuds, high-performance DSP with dedicated DSP and amplifier, of course, DAC, true 32-bit audio connection, which is interesting, 6-band customizable EQ and true sound. So the app allows you to EQ this as much as you want, which is fantastic. Bluetooth 5.4 with aptX lossless. So that's where you get the CD quality 1644.1 essentially from Bluetooth. It's not, you're not going to get 2492, 192, you're not going to get that sort of thing, but you at least get on compatible devices essentially CD quality as they're claiming it. Multi-point connectivity, that means that you can actually connect these to your, let's say, your laptop and your phone, and that it'll actually connect to both. Sometimes that is a bit of a pain because it's connected to the wrong thing. That's a whole nother thing. ANC, again, we'll talk about audio transmission. Wireless USB-C charging, obviously it's just a USB-C at the bottom. Fast charging support, that is really nice. I can plug this in a fast charger and I charge super quickly. Apple M5 made for iPhone support. I don't have an iPhone, so I couldn't tell you about that. But the Bluetooth codec, so it has aptX lossless, adaptive, classic, AAC, and SBC. So if you're on an iPhone, you're not going to get any of that stuff, but on Android, sweet. And this is their big change. The driver has a 12 millimeter carbon cone. And it's the change in driver technology, the speaker, for lack of a better word, inside, between these two, that dramatically, substantially, class-leadingly makes these by far better sounding than the Pi7. It is ridiculous, the difference. The Pi7 sounded okay to good. The Sonys I thought were very good, and I put in the B&Ws, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The bass is just so rich, but never thumpy. You don't feel like you're getting a head massage while playing it. It's just exquisite. The mid-range, especially when listening like acoustic instruments or female vocals or any of that stuff, just comes through absolutely with great clarity, completely rivaling my wired Shure 846 earphones that I'm listening with high-res stuff. Even when I'm listening to, let's say, Tidal, with these earphones, these absolutely rival my substantially more specced out in-ear monitors, and then never shrill, never harsh. It's just a pleasure to listen to music with these. It's that. And the whole point of having earphones, obviously, isn't just for the, I guess there's a convenience factor for most people while they're working out, while they're walking, or whatever. But I find just when I just want to sit and listen to music, yes, I can put on my big chunky phones, but anywhere I am in the world, I can put these on and actually put in music that I really love and get something really, really amazing out of them. Now, in terms of noise cancellation, let's go through here. Water resistance has IP54, so it's decent water resistance, not the highest ever, but certainly it'll be sweat proof and all that stuff. The case, of course, includes the earbuds, Bluetooth, the charging case, and it has the USB to same 3.5 millimeter USB cable for the retransmission, and it has obviously a series of the earbuddy things that it comes with. So if I crack this open, this is the Pi8 case. Inside, again, simple cardboard. Let's open this up without too much drama. You have some documentation as you do. This is where the earphones themselves would have been, and not wrapped in sort of cardboard. So this is USB to USB-C, and this is USB-C to mini jack. Exactly the same as the other, and that's what the retransmission would be. And then just, inside here, sort of tucked in this. Let's try to do this without breaking the paper. There we go. We have, as I'm losing a bunch, as they're all falling out, you get the idea of replacement earbuds depending on your size. Large, small, and extra small. I have the medium, which fit completely perfectly. I'm not the biggest fan of this little cardboard thing, but we'll put it all away after I'm done recording and actually make it sort of behave the way it is. But yeah, you sort of pull this out and you put it, popping it in, it's not a problem. I've only had a couple times this sort of rubbery stuff come out in my ear. That is something that is a little bit annoying about these kind of earphones when it comes out. But you can see the earphone itself. I just pop it off. It's super simple. It has a little nipple on there, and it connects there. I think the Sonys are a little bit more firm, for lack of a better word. They attach a little bit more to that little dimple that's at the end. But it's certainly comfortable enough for what I'm listening to. Active noise cancellation on this is exceptional. I've done multiple flights now with these earphones, and I've had screaming babies feet away from me, and these have done a fantastic job of knocking it out, and I never got that weird sucking sound. I never got any sensation that the anti-noise that is sort of being broadcast is disruptive either to my just regular experience or simply in listening to music. Again, no drop whatsoever for me in any of the equalization. Once ANC is on, it's like I have music, but everything disappears on the outside. It's fantastic. This and the Sony, the only earphones I've ever used where I just keep ANC on all the time. Now that does drain battery a little bit more, but I just find that the environment that I can hear quieter things at a better level by doing it. The construction itself with the rubber is pretty good. I like these earphones enough that I would consider actually getting custom molds for them. The challenge is, of course, because, a general limitation. If I got custom molds for these, I know at some point in time, these are just going to stop working and I'm going to have to get another pair based on the battery at some point in time stopping being able to charge. That's just inevitable about this. With my Shure 46s that I've had for almost a decade, I have custom molds because I know whatever happens unless I completely break something like break an MMCX connector, which is super annoying when that happens, and then I got to throw the headphones away. I know I will have them for as long as I have something that I can actually plug a mini jack into. They are sleek. The sound is exceptional. I threw everything at this. Everything from Björk, so I got a little bit of sort of industrial sort of electronica to Beethoven symphonies, to Miles Davis, be it his bop period right through the fusion stuff. Listen, a ton of Herbie and a ton of Joni. Any fan of this channel knows how much attention I pay to those. From acoustic stuff, the sound stage is wide, but immersive vocals are dead center. And again, when it comes to good quality earphones, you're getting a soundstage representation that you have to spend a fortune on to get as speakers. And the room and all the other things where layout, not everybody is quite as crazy as me as to have customized a room to actually allow this. So you are getting a chance to actually hear music in a way, whether you're out, just sit at home and listen in ways that are truly, truly exceptional. They're not perfect. When they are working, they're amazing. But I have found a couple times there's sort of a weird mode of dropout. Maybe one earphone will connect and the other one won't. That's sort of par for the course. Sometimes I just have to put them in the case and pull them out again, the equivalent of a reboot. What's slightly more distressing, at least for my phone, if my phone's in my pocket and it's sending via aptX, I have a Samsung S23, I'm getting a kind of almost a phase dropout. It's as if I have perfectly fine, and then everything sort of goes like this for a while, and then opens up again. It's just a second. It's obviously an interruption in the Bluetooth stream, and I don't know if it's an issue with my phone talking to the earphones themselves, etc. But it is something that I noticed on this that I haven't noticed on other drivers. I have a feeling it's because so much signal is actually going to these, relatively speaking, based on the maximization of the aptX coming on my phone, that's what's going. I wonder if and when, which I will be in the next couple of months, upgrading my Samsung to the latest version, whether that will actually improve on that dynamic. That being said, I didn't get so many dropouts when I was listening, let's say, with my Pi8, my standalone player. But then again, I have been doing substantially less listening with that player because the convenience of these is I can just listen off my phone using Tidal or Spotify or even built-in music or just YouTube or whatever. It's been fine. No sync issues, no delays. I can watch a video off of Bluetooth and everything's absolutely in sync. They're just phenomenal earphones. And other than a couple little blips like that, it's fine. I would like, the case is pretty solid. You can see that I'm hanging upside down. It's not going anywhere. If the case is open and then it gets banged, they can occasionally pop out. But even me doing this, here I am trying to knock them out. The magnets are substantial enough that they're sort of staying in place, which is great. I've dropped the case on the floor. They kind of cascade everywhere. That is a bit of a schlep, but no nicks, no nothing that's going on here. It's sort of all very much in place. So yeah, I'll just put this against the white. That might be a better way of showing it. It's still not getting it. I don't know what are you going to do. It's dark video. But the deal is that I love these earphones. I'm so pleased to have had a chance to actually give them a real strong workout. I have literally spent months on an almost daily basis giving them a listen, trying to find things, trying to find music, frankly, that'll make these stumble. And that's one of the reasons I love this brand. I mean, it's why I decked out my entire thing in Bowers Wilkins, is I find at best the sound signature on these, just like their big speakers, is, neutral's a dumb word, but it's just basically give me what's in the music. I don't want something that's so piercing and so high-end that it's cutting through the mix. I don't want something that's so thumpy that it's accentuating the bass. I don't want something that's so bloated in the mids that a lower or high volume that it's sort of doing a relative upside-down smiley curve or the opposite of a smiley curve, whichever way you want to look at it. They just sound like what I think the music should sound like for the most part. Yes, you can go crazier. Yes, my over-the-ear headphones, I'm going to get some resolution and detail that I don't get out of this. Yes, obviously when I'm listening with my 802 Diamonds, I'm going to get a different sound stage, a different impact. I'm going to feel the bass in my core. I'm going to feel the audio sort of swimming around me. But these come so darn close to me having essentially speakers, high-end speakers attached to my ears in the convenience and absolute painlessness of having Bluetooth connectivity. I couldn't be happier. I would love if there was a way to actually make these and similar models use replaceable batteries, that I could have these for years and years to come, because I believe that these absolutely maximize the sound in specific ways. That, yeah, we're going to get a couple more features, we're going to get a couple more codecs, and we're going to get all those elements, but they've done such a good job with this new driver, this carbon driver, or whatever they're calling it, the construction of it, that it just presents audio in a glorious way. I love these earphones. I absolutely highly recommend them. If you're in the market for something within that range, the several $100 range, high end for Bluetooth, very low end for general headphones, I cannot recommend enough the Bowers Wilkins Pi8. They really are, for me, everything I ever wanted for this form factor of earphone. Super convenient. I put them in my pocket, I take them out, and I'm bathed in sound that, when I was just starting out this hobby, I could have only dreamed of. And it's pretty amazing that we're at this stage now where you can have, in such a small form factor, such exquisite sound. Can things improve from here? Can the Pi9 improve what the Pi8 does? I'm sure it'll have a lot more to do with codecs, but I have a feeling that they've really found a sweet spot here with this particular driver construction. And while the form factor might change, and inevitably you have stuff so that it'll encourage people to upgrade, I really think for years to come, these will be your daily drivers. These will be the earphones that you put in. I've had a chance to audition them against the Sennheisers, against the Sonys, against the Denons, other higher end earphones. These compared to the Bose or the Apple, it's not even close. These crush them. I just think that you need to, whether you're Android or Apple, whether you're using it on your computer, whether you're taking flights, or you're just going to the cottage and like chilling, or you're on your couch and you want to have Bluetooth off your television, whatever it is that you do, I think the Pi8 are earphones for you to absolutely take a listen to and probably make the absolute center of your portable audio system, as it were. For thatshelf.com, I'm Jason Gorber. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more on this channel. It would really help us out if you've gotten this far to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this review. It takes a lot for us to do this stuff and actually put these videos together. So it really would help if you help us sort of spread the word. Send some stuff on social media that would really help. Follow us. Go to thatshelf.com. Read our film reviews and other reviews. We will see you next video. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Take care.